is step 2 in the research video series. Now that you have your topic and you have a question, so mine was on the Salem witch trials, and my question is, how did the Salem witch trials affect the American legal system? Okay, so you should have your question too. If you can't remember it, you need to write it down or have a file with it in there. So if Miss Hunt comes around and asks you a question, you should know immediately what your research question is. You shouldn't have to look, because if you have to look or you're not sure, that tells me you're not really doing what you need to do. There's no learning taking place. There's just nothing happening. So you need to know what your research question is. Okay. Then you need to make a list. And again, you can do this that didn't come out very good, did it? You need to make a list of key terms to search for. So if I am searching for the Salem witchcraft trials and how it affected the legal system, then I am going to have a list of search terms so I don't just keep looking up the Salem witchcraft trials. If you come to me and say all my articles say the same thing, it's because you looked up the same term over and over and over again. You have to look up different things in order to find different information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my list of terms. So in what ways did the Salem witch trials affect American law? I'm going to look up things like spectral evidence. And we remember that from the Crucible. And we know that they use spectral evidence to find people guilty. Well, spectral evidence is the evidence that nobody really sees. And that's the evidence that, you can't fight against because it's not really there. And then the Court of Oyer and Terminer, I found from looking through the Wikipedia page. And this was kind of a rush through kind of court, and this states what happened and how the Court of Oyer and Terminer was used to find witches guilty. Okay, I'm also going to look up the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment, because both of those have to do with the right to an attorney and your court rights. So I will be looking up those and then applying those to what happened in the Salem witchcraft trials. Okay? So when I look up key terms like this, I'm going to find more specific information. Now, if I only have to write 4 to 6 pages, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 big topics listed above. So if I give a good introduction, that's about 3/4 of the page. If I tell the story of the witch trials, going to be about 3/4 of a page. I'm already at a page and a half. And then if I talk about the evidence used in the trial, like the spectral evidence, I'm going to be at 3.5. If I give a definition of the Court of Oyer and Terminer, I'm going to be at 4.5. And then an explanation of how those accused of witchcraft were denied lawyers, I may be at 5.5 pages already there. I had a good conclusion. I got 6 pages. So remember, the hardest part about doing a research paper is the reading. But if you're reading your material, if you think about what you're researching, then it's going to make the process so much easier.